Hello and welcome to a part of California you might not have heard of before. If you're on your way back down from Tahoe or Yosemite, just off the freeway is a hidden place with a lot of Californian history.
It's called Bodie. It's a ghost town, come and see.
We'll take you for a bit of a tour. This is Bodie, and it's one of the Californian ghost towns which you never really get to see or hear about. Usually everyone's off at the beach or in the pool. It's one of the places in America where you can actually find out so much history, and it's here in your fingertips, and you can smell it, taste it and see it all around you.
There's a rusty old car here.
W.S. Bodie discovered gold here in 1859. A mill was established 2 years later, and it grew from 20 miners to around 10,000 people by 1880.
During those boom years, there were lots of restaurants and saloons and brothels and opium dens and all sort of rowdiness that you expect from the Wild West.
Bodie's heyday was short-lived though, and by 1881, its gold and silver was depleted, the mining companies were going out of business, and the boom ended very quickly. By the turn of the century, the population was seriously dwindling.
So it boomed and then it busted just as quickly. People moved in very quickly, they realized there wasn't nearly as much gold and silver in the area, and then they left just as quickly as they came.
Luckily for us, Bodie's last major landowner, James Kane, believed the good times would return again.
So there was one family called the Kane family, and they hired people to live here and protect the buildings once people left, to make sure people didn't come in and loot the artifacts out of the buildings.
So we were lucky really with that one.
Very lucky to have the Kane
really cool.
family. Yeah. Everything is still sitting kind of the way it was almost 130 years ago.
This is the morgue.
What?
This is one of two mortuaries remaining in Bodie. The other is near the cemetery.
When you arrive, you can do a self-guided tour, a paid one through the stamp mill, and there are free talks throughout the day with park staff.
They were known to get in a lot of shootouts here in Bodie. They were known as being quick to shoot but not very good shots.
Look, they left the bottles in there. Yes, because they really left the bottles. Because, look, all around, that's the shop. And I'll show you all the way round.
What was in there, Sam?
We left the bed in here, bye.
It feels like it's really frozen in time here at Bodie. You can see the bowls on the table still, books on the desks.
It's the schoolhouse. And look, there's like a chair, but there's a table at the back of it.
Would you like to go to school here?
I look too old-fashioned.
Can you imagine back in the olden days, running up from your house back up there, running to school every day? Does it make you imagine what it would have been like in the olden days?
Yeah.
But with all this history here, make sure you don't steal anything.
The rumor is that there's a curse here in Bodie. If you take an artifact from the park and leave the park with it, then a curse is going to follow you and bad things might happen.
Is that right? People post their things back because they get scared and things have happened?
Yeah, absolutely. But like once or twice a week we get letters from people who are returning artifacts because a curse has followed them.
It's crazy to think that about 10,000 people would have actually lived in this town here, and at the moment it feels eerily quiet.
The buildings here today are just the ones left standing. Earthquakes have taken their fair share over the years, but fires also burned down large parts of the town. The biggest in 1932 was started by an unlikely source.
We heard a story about a little boy named Billy. He's 3 years old. Do we know anybody else who's 3 years old? Sammy. So a little boy the same age as Sammy's age was invited to a birthday party. Now the family wasn't very rich, so they couldn't afford ice cream and cake, and Billy was not happy. They served him green jello. Would you like green jello? Would you like green jello? Yeah, I prefer jelly and ice cream, I think. So he threw a big tantrum. You guys would never throw a tantrum when you didn't get something you like, would you? Never. But he threw a really big tantrum, and he ran away from the party, and he found some matches, and I think it was a saloon or something, and he started playing with the matches, and he ended up lighting the whole town on fire. Now, the same Billy, a few years before, they found a letter from some woman saying, "This Billy's a naughty boy and he's always getting into trouble, and today I saw him playing with matches, and one day that boy's gonna light the whole town on fire." And a couple years later, he did.
So my favourite building was the school because there was the same kind of writing. It was still there.
The park wardens still live in some of these old houses here as well. So if you're ever looking for a job where you can actually live in a ghost town, this is where you can actually do it. You can live here on site as a park ranger.
W.S. Bodie died in a blizzard a few months after discovering gold here, so he never actually got to see the town which bears his name. Don't make that mistake yourself though. If you're in the area, pop along to see history come to life at this haunting ghost town in California.
Bye.